Hello everyone, today in this video we will fight against the Atmos character of our world around us, and today we will have Trip to France. Like there was a song sung by one lady, and seemingly Mike Oldfield was creating the music background for this Go to France. Yeah. So we go to France, but nowadays France is actually in deep crisis. We have to say openly that this country is undergoing the decomposition because the government controls less and less of its territory. We have riots in almost every big and middle city of this country. The rioters are taking entire districts, and even police and army have problems to enter these areas again. And we see that police is actually paralyzed due to the ideological madhouse and lack of the decisions from the higher command, that it's also infested with this ideological political correctness thinking, because now actually they don't know what to do. Yeah, everything started with a very suspicious information that police, I don't know if it's true or not, because last years especially showed us that we cannot trust mainstream media in anything. That police shoot a teenage criminal, and of course, if they shoot him, he died, and this officially triggered all riots. Even if it happened, really, it doesn't justify this was happening, but this is what we can say, so-called republic, because the current elite of the France is not calling France as France, but it's calling France republic. But republic is not a state, it's not a nation, it's only one of the possible forms of the government. So actually, it means nothing. And nowadays France proves us that actually France is nothing, because it cannot control its own inhabitants, it cannot control its own territory. So we see that now we can observe complete failure of the last decades of the politics called by many as multiculturalism, that France was importing thousands, dozens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of immigrants from all around the world, and they were even not checking if they speak French, if they are able to take any jobs. Of course, the excuse was to take these people that we need to help refugees, we need to have labor force. Yeah, but the problem is that these people in majority these people were not coming to France to work, they were coming to France to use and abuse welfare system. And many of them were not hiding it, that this was their first purpose. And the problem is, of course, that France was mainly accepting social margin from the Maghreb and Central African countries mainly, because these countries, like in any country, of course have some criminal population, social margin population, and they were getting rid of them, sending them to France, of course. But France was taking them as a useful immigrants or refugees that need help. And what happened? It happened what had to happen. Social margin, state social margin, regardless of the place where it lives. If it lives in Central Africa, it would be social margin, and if it lives in France, it still stay social margin. It remained social margin. Nothing changed. So social margin behaves as a social margin. They use any opportunity to start rioting and robbing the properties of other people who work really hard. And this is the problem, that now people who work hard in France are robbed, cars are burning, districts are burning, buildings are burning, constructions are burning, even entire cities are burning. And surprisingly, France is producing a lot of carbon footprint. A lot! Especially since last few days. And somehow eco-freaks, eco-terrorists are not complaining, are not condemning the amateurs of social welfare from the other civilizations that came to France to enjoy social welfare and make riots. Somehow these eco freaks are not condemning the source of additional carbon footprint for France. Somehow this problem doesn't exist. Surprisingly, because when we have debate about European future, industry, food production, they always complain that cows are farting, we shouldn't eat meat, we shouldn't have industry because we need to reduce carbon footprint. But surprisingly, production of CO2 is not very high for European Union. In comparison to China, India, United States, and other big states or other big states or simply political organisms, let's say, that are producing the CO2, the impact of the European Union in the contribution of the CO2 production is not huge. Now it's bigger thanks to these amateurs of social welfare who came to France to enjoy social welfare for nothing and make mess. Now France contribution is larger, finally. And somehow eco-terrorists are silent, they are not criticizing them. I see very huge contradiction. And we also see that French government, of course, doesn't know what to do. We have really a lot of propaganda, a lot of attempts to dilute the responsibility, and mainstream media are not targeting real problem that for many years there was wrong social politics and people from social margin were accepted to the country, and social margin, as I said, doesn't matter where it lives, it will stay, it will remain social margin. That's why we see one thing, that France is getting decomposed, and we shouldn't be so optimistic because similar situation soon will happen in Belgium, in my opinion, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Scandinavia. It will also go to Germany, Spain, and Western Europe will be soon all in riots, and there will be huge problem. Other strong political centers around the world will use this situation to their own benefits by any means. And what should Central European countries do? They should really take a closer look at huge numbers of Ukrainians, and not only who came to these countries since 2022. Try to secure their own situation, try to secure their own properties, just simply try to protect their western borders because West is decomposing. Take a popcorn and watch how multiculturalism theater is coming to its end, and how these countries are producing larger amount of carbon footprint. And somehow eco terrorists are silent, are not and they are not criticizing the amateurs of social welfare whose ancestors came from the south, mainly to France, to enjoy social welfare, and were even invited in the name of two things: multiculturalism, and in the name of taking a labor force. But it was bad addressee because these people proved very quickly that they are not good workers. Now they are only good rioters and good problem makers. So we see that if ideology overshadows reality, one goes to problems. And as I said, we have to be ready for the fact. I hope that Central European countries, despite problems, they do what I suggested. They will just militarize the western borders, take popcorn and watch how France, Germany, Netherlands, and UK, Spain, and Italy go to the skies with CO2, with huge carbon footprint. They will go to the skies really soon. All the best. Have a nice day. Bye.